Hello, everybody. Sorry, guys, we have had technical difficulties this morning. I hope that y'all are doing well. Check and let me see. Can everybody hear me? Let's start with that. I want to make sure before I start moving on. It's kind of crazy when you jump in here and try and get everything going and nothing works, and you're like, okay, we got to find a way to make this work. All right. Perfect. Let me fix one thing here. Trying to get all this going, and it doesn't always work, but we are looking pretty good right now. All right, good deal. Thank you, Miss Elizabeth. How is everybody doing? Sorry about that. We had problems connecting this morning, which we didn't have yesterday. So we kind of figured everything would go okay, but it looks like we got it going on now. Hope everybody is doing wonderful. I want to jump in here real quick and say, I'm Roger Wakefield. I've been doing plumbing for over 45 years, and we started doing this live stream because we felt like bringing more information to tradespeople helps make them more knowledgeable. We teach people that if you want to be in the top 5% of your industry, get up every morning and study your niche, your industry, your profession, and it will help move you up into the top 5% if you will just study for 30 minutes to an hour every day. And it really does, because it's not about learning everything, but it's about learning more about all the different topics about there. So there's less out there that you don't know anything about. So this is the Trade Talks. Normally Squirt is here with me. He is doing a Leak Pro training in Dallas, Texas, or just outside of Dallas, Texas, in Wiley at the training center. This video is sponsored by Leak Pro. And if you're interested in learning leak detection, if you're interested in learning something that can help you grow your business, grow your bottom line, and do amazing things for your company, or if you're a plumber and you just want to learn how to do it better, we've got the best, most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. What I recommend is going to www.leak-pro.com and checking it out. And if you do that, you're going to see that we have the complete kit, which is great. It's got the probe that has the stainless steel rod. It's great for having outside and pushing down in the yard. We've also got the Sidekick, and the Sidekick's my favorite piece because you can wear it around the house. It's just your headphones, the wire, and that tool. And the good thing about it, okay, hold on just 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right, I am here. Sorry about that, guys. I had to go move my bag. I had it over there. Some people were coming in. So Leak Pro, the Sidekick, what I love about it is you're not carrying this big bulky equipment around your neck or around your waist. So it's nice because I've actually damaged people's equipment or people's countertops because of that equipment. If you want to learn how to use this equipment, to me, that's the smartest thing to do, because you're going to come away with confidence knowing you know how to use it, you know how to make it work, and you can find leaks. And we do a 2-day training outside of Dallas in Wiley, Texas. If you want to find out more about that, give Squirt a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO. And if you want to learn how to do YouTube, anything at all like what we're doing, go to www.justmattroger.com. I made a free webinar teaching you all about it. Now I'm going to jump into the national news real quick, because Florida launches a $1.2 billion infrastructure resilience project. Now, we talk about stuff like this coming up a lot, and I think it's great because what this does is it helps everybody find out what all's going on, how we're making things better. But there's an initiative announced to enhance storm and flood resilience in urban areas. Now, this is a big deal, of course, in Florida because, I mean, we're in the middle of hurricane season right now. So it's gonna start happening. All right, God, are we in the middle of it? Maybe we're not in the middle of it. Where was it last year that we were somewhere in the middle of it? But when the hurricanes come in, and if you know the hurricane season dates, you can put it down in there. But I remember showing up at a place one day and they're like, oh, yeah, you're here for the first day of hurricane season. It's like, great. There's going to be immediate job openings for construction trades, for civil engineers, heavy equipment operators, concrete workers, any people like that. And this is going to help build all the infrastructure. Projects include reinforcing bridges, roads, drainage systems, and coastal barriers. There's partnership opportunities for local contractors and subcontractors. And this is one we talk about a lot. If you're a smaller contractor, you're like, man, I wish we could get in on some of that work. Talk to bigger contractors and say, hey, look, is there any way that we can team up and do like a joint venture on this? You may have a better insurance rating. You may have better insurance prices. There may be some things that you can bring to the table that they just can't do. So Miami-Dade, $350 million drainage improvement project. Now imagine a city like that or a county getting $350 million to work on the drainage for the city. Now that's going to lead to a lot of work. And then environmental emphasis are for sustainability, construction practices, and eco-friendly materials. And me being a lead AP, I love that. To me, that's what it's all about. I'm going to pull up another site here real quick. How is everybody doing today? I know this is kind of crazy from my end, but it is what it is. All right. I am going to share my screen because we're going to roll over into websites. And what we're talking about here is construction software for innovators. Now, this is Bluebeam, as you can see up top. You can go to www.bluebeam.com. Digital construction platform tailored for collaborative project management. Now, this is good because this is going to help you get in and learn how other people do things. The benefits, and this benefits tradespeople by streamlining plan markups, approvals, and revisions digitally. Now, these are the kind of things that Randy and I talk about, that when you're on a big job like DFW Airport, as the superintendent, I literally had an iPad just for that job, or an app just for that job, where I could log in, pull the blueprints up, no matter where I was. And that way, if there were collusions or something, if there were problems, us running into HVAC or electrical, we could get all the people together and figure out how to resolve it right there in the field. I think that's great. Now, plumbing is a good example. A plumbing contractor reduced project turnaround time by 20% using Bluebeam for plan coordination. Now, it's a big deal, guys, because you get current updated drawings every time you turn it on. So if there's a revision, if there's a change, if there's anything like that, it's something that you see immediately. And real-time project updates are accessible from any device. They're ideal for remote project collaboration between office teams and job site crews. And there's a robust training resources in there for quick onboarding and effective implementation. Now, you look through the sites, it shows you some of these big companies that are already using it. Of course, Skanska over here, Turner Construction, using it on the UI Bound project in Washington, D.C. You look up top, here's what I like doing, looking at all the different projects. You've got the product overview, collaboration and mobility, markups and data, onboarding, apps and integrations. Now, these are always good because you look at the different apps that they have here, you can integrate into your projects. So stuff like this is really, really cool. I love the way that they're making all this easier for us to use, but there's a big importance for face-to-face connections at industry events. Oops. They make digital construction platform tailored to collaborative project management. The real-time updates, stuff like this are what make projects like this work. And guys, when you're on a major project, having those drawings with you, no matter where you are in the building, is great, because if you walk up to your crew and they're like, hey, hey, this line's supposed to do this, but we're thinking about doing this. You pull up the drawings and you've got everything right there together. And it's like, look, we can't do it. So having it there with you is great, because one thing that we always did in the office there, don't just come to me with a problem, come to me with a solution, because you're in the field looking at it. You've got the drawings with you. It's much easier to do. All right, we're going to roll over into business growth. Winning strategies for trade show networking. And guys, this is something I'm getting really good at. But there is a big importance for face-to-face connection at industry events. Me, I do it a lot to meet with potential sponsors, but I also do this to meet with other influencers, to meet with other tradespeople. I was at Skills USA last week in Atlanta, and I've got to tell you, me going to stuff like that, I think it's amazing. I get to get out, I get to meet new people, I get to hang out with old people. There's a lot of people that I see at these events. It's like showing up and hanging out with my best friend. So it really is such a good deal for me. There was an HVAC firm that landed a $100,000 contract through networking at an event like this. Guys, you get out, you get to meet people. And it's not just, hey, let me give you my card so you know who I am. You talk to them, you get to know them. You make plans to go have dinner, go sit down at happy hour. Whatever it is, there is a way to get in there, visit people, and find out what value you can bring to them. And to me, I think that's one of the most important things to learn about networking, is it's not just about, let me show up and see what I can get out of this. It's you show up and find out, what can I give back? But if you're setting up a booth there, an effective booth design and conversation starters, maximize engagement. One of the things that we do, I know Amber's helped me set it up before. When I speak at events, sometimes they'll want me to do my podcast from there or do interviews. I've had Colton with me. I've had Randy with me. And we'll show up and they'll give us a booth and we'll set it up and we'll shoot podcasts remotely. So there's a lot of fun things that we get to do. Now, there are tools for lead capture and efficient follow-up post-show. And you want to make sure that you're using something like, say, Go High Level. Now, that's something that we use as a CRM. I think it's great. If you want to find out more about it, you can go to go to rogersmarketingmachine.com, and I've got a company that'll help you set all of that. But that's a great way to follow up with potential sponsors, with other people that you meet. And you can actually, when you're entering them in your CRM, you enter them as to what category they would fall in. Are they a possible collaborator? Are they a possible sponsor? Are they a possible future vendor for you? Using stuff like that helps. And then evaluating the trade show ROI. Track your leads and conversions and the cost effectiveness. Is it something that you're doing good? Is it something that you're doing well? We often look at the shows that we go to and say, hey, you know what? This really didn't pan out for much. Now, was it because I didn't get out and meet enough people? Is it because the right people weren't there? Or is it because I didn't follow up and follow through like I should have? So a lot of different things there to think about and a lot of different things to consider. But I highly recommend getting out and going to these shows. The shows I go to each and every year, I go to KBIS. I go to WET. I go to AHR, the air conditioning, heating, refrigeration. And I got to tell you, I wish that they had more plumbing at it, but there's still some great collaboration opportunities there. So to me, it's worth going to. If you ever want to find out about any of these, connect with me on LinkedIn, reach out and talk to me and say, hey, Roger, look, how do I get more involved in these? Which ones do you go to? Which ones should you go to? And me, another one is of course, Skills USA and PHCC. I think they're phenomenal. All right, let's roll into service work. And this is a tough one because it's one that a lot of people don't know how to do, but it's dealing effectively with difficult customers. And you need to be able to identify customer dissatisfaction early. What are the signs? What are the red flags? You know, if you call a customer and you think your guys did an amazing job, and you're like, hey, Miss Johnson, I'm just calling to check to see how it was. You know, you're like, yeah, y'all did okay. You know, to me, okay is not the kind of job we do. So being able to listen to them, talk to them, and understand. Next would be communication techniques. What is active listening? And instead of active listening, I call it listen to repeat. To me, this is such a big deal because if you're actively listening to someone and listening to every word they say, it helps you communicate better with them, because when they're talking to you and you can talk back to them and say, look, what I heard you say is, you've tried this, you've done this, you've had this many companies out and none of this has worked, and you've spent this much money. They know that you're listening. And if they're listening, you're going to do good. If you're listening, you're going to do even better. An electrician turned a complaint into repeat business through attentive listening, through attentive service. And if you will think about this when you're communicating with them, how can you serve them better? And it's not just how do I make this right? How do I go above and beyond? And thinking about things like that can literally change everything that you do. And then document the service clearly to prevent any misunderstandings. One of the biggest misunderstandings I had on a job was we had done one section of a slab leak. Then we had to go more, and this was a repair. So we had tunneled, we had fixed the first part, but I had told her, look, there's more. And every time we went to an area, I circled it off and said, hey, we're complete through here. Here's how much it is. And the lady got upset. She said, no, that first price should have covered everything. It's like, ma'am, I was very clear about it. And I was able to go back and show her the documentation. Now, she still wasn't super happy about it. But at the end, by the time that I finished doing all my work, documenting everything the way I did, the insurance company paid for almost all of it. So she came out to actually get very well taken care of in the end, even though she wasn't happy during the process. But I kept trying to explain to her, ma'am, look, I have showed you this and explained it to you many, many times. You've also got to train your field crews in conflict resolution and customer service. If you're not teaching your field crews customer service, and I don't just mean please, thank you, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. If you're not teaching them good customer service, you're losing money and you're losing customers. Proactive customer updates to build trust and prevent frustration will help you a lot too. Are you reaching out to them? Are you communicating with them? We had one job that I knew we were having a lot of problems on. It was one like I was talking about. Every time you got somewhere, there was something else. And I finally, I was looking at my report one day. I thought, I'm just going to call the customer. I called him and said, hey, this is Roger. Just want to see how you're doing. I said, oh my God, Roger, we're doing great. Your team's amazing. And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, well, your team is talking to us every minute of every day. Amber's reached out to us to communicate with us. Man, I really am glad we called you. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that makes my heart feel so good to know that we're taking care of our customers so much that in a bad situation, they're telling me how much they love us. That's a pretty cool deal. Turning difficult situations into positive testimonials and referrals can be done if you're willing to go above and beyond. And if you are, it works. All right, MET, materials, equipment, and tools. Now, battery-powered tools are revolutionizing job site efficiency. I have been to Pipeline with Milwaukee. And guys, I got to tell you, I think that is one of the greatest things on earth, to be able to go there with other trades professionals, to see things, to do things, to get to play with the tools, to get to hang out, get to visit, to get to give feedback to Milwaukee and get to learn from Milwaukee. I think that is probably one of the best events that I've ever just been invited to just, hey, come hang out, talk to us, shoot video, do what you do. It was really, really good. Now, there's benefits of cordless technology. There's the portability, the reduced setup time. You don't have to drag out cords, but also the enhanced safety. You don't have to worry about those cords going, through metal studs and possibly somebody stepping on it and cutting it or anything like that. And I told you about Milwaukee. Their MX Fuel lineup is freaking amazing. And my favorite thing about Milwaukee is the fact that, their batteries from 10 years ago still fit today. Their batteries from 10 years from now are going to fit today's tools. I think that is one of the coolest things about Milwaukee. but they also keep making the batteries smaller, lighter, but more powerful. So doing things like that make life amazing. Now, for an example, a roofing crew improved productivity by 25% using cordless roofing nailers. And if you've never seen all the tools Milwaukee has, guys, go through their website. I know me and Randy pulled it up the other day. It's like being a kid in a candy store. It is fantastic. When you got your tools, make sure you evaluate the battery. How long is it taking to recharge them? And what is the performance consistency? Do you have certain batteries that die after no time at all? If you've been using the heck out of it, it may be time to replace it. And sometimes it's just something that we have to do. There's a cost benefit analysis comparing cordless versus traditional corded tools too. And I remember talking to somebody from Milwaukee and they said, Roger, our battery operated tools actually have more power than the corded version. So you look at it and look at what it can do. Going cordless really is the way to go. And then if you want to maintain your batteries, make sure you're charging them, pull them off the charger when they're done. Keep your batteries charged. If you take a battery off the charger and swap out, put the other one back on. That way you've always got a backup ready to go. Now I'm going to jump into the comments real quick. And yes, we did have technical difficulties. Thank you, Elizabeth. Tracy Phillips says, hello, Roger. Says, you are live. I can see and hear you. And Tracy, you're right. Tech does happen, and it happened today. And as you know, they're setting up around me. So we had multiple problems. Where we were trying to set up, they finally just moved me back to where I was, and the problem that we had getting connected. Matt McDonough says, Mr. Miyagi of Plumbing, happy Taco and Tequila Tuesday. And I love you. Love you, brother. Got to be a hero. Go to work. Have fun. Be safe. Love you. Bye. Brother, you be safe out there. There you go. Tracy Phillips. I sure do appreciate that. There's got to be a Leak Dash Pro. You go to that site there, you're going to get the wrong equipment. So, matter of fact, I'm going to make sure nobody sees that. Yeah. Roger didn't leave the building. I had to go grab my bag and move it before I got kicked out of the building. All right. Those of y'all that don't know, this video is sponsored by Leak Pro. And Leak Pro is the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. We acquired this company about 3 years ago from Terry Bursell. And the first time I met Terry, I told him, I said, Terry, this is the best leak detection system I've ever seen. I've used multiple systems. I've been trained on multiple systems. I have been across the United States. I've been from Florida. I've been from Florida to California for training. I've trained on probably about 6 different systems. I've been on 2 sites where they had, or 2 training sites where they had systems where you could try their stuff out. And Randy and I looked at that before we built the site that we did. I think that we have built the most effective training site because it's not easy. It's not like the leaks are just right there, right below the concrete, spraying on it. So you know right where it is. We buried them deep. We made the holes small. We made the concrete extra thick because we want to train you the right way. But if you're going to do it, I recommend doing it right. So buy the complete kit. That is the kit that has the Leak Pro, has the stainless steel rod. It's phenomenal for putting in the ground. Terry actually told me one day, he says, Roger, the way I've designed this, you could take a sledgehammer and drive that in the ground if you need to. Now, I've never done it, and I never would do it. But it's nice to know it's built that solid. My favorite piece is the Sidekick. It's what I carry into houses with me all the time. I can actually use that at the meter, at the valve box, and walk into the house. That way I know for sure what I need to isolate. Is it in the house? Is it in the yard? Is it on the hot side? Is it on the cold side? Knowing this is going to speed up the process for you. But we've got both those pieces, 2 headphones, and a little bag of tools to help you hook things up, all in the complete kit. And we designed the most amazing carrying case. People literally are like, dude, when I roll in the house with that, I look freaking professional. It's like, I know you do. So we put that in there. But if you don't know how to use this, talk to Randy about the training. If you just want to buy the equipment, go to www.leak-pro.com. And if you want to learn how to get the training on it, give Squirt a call at 1-8888-LEAP-PRO. He can get you taken care of. And if you want to learn more about what we do, you want to learn about YouTube, you want to learn how to grow you, your business, your brand, whatever it is, I teach people how to do YouTube. I teach them not just how to do it, but how to do it right. We started learning how to do it, but then I've probably spent over $100,000 on coaches. Actually, it's probably up to 200 now. But I've spent that much money on coaches learning how to do YouTube, how to do social media, and how to do it better. So most people, when they first talk to me, they're like, Roger, I can never do it because of this. To be honest, you can. If you go back and look at some of my first videos, I did my first videos talking to a laptop. I backed up because I wanted to be in the screen a certain way, and I'm hollering at the laptop just to make sure they could hear me. I didn't have microphones. I didn't have lights. I didn't have good cameras. Later, we started using our cell phones. We started using iPads. Then we bought cameras. Now, the misconceptions I get are, hey, I can't do it. I don't have the right equipment. I don't have enough followers. I don't have enough subscribers. I don't have enough people watching. But to be honest, I didn't have any of that in the beginning either. But look where it got me. Guys, if you want to learn just a little bit more about YouTube to find out if it's something you think you could do, go check it out at www.justmattroger.com. And I promise you, if you'll go watch that webinar, it might change your mind. All right. We are going to get into MEP, mechanical, electric, and plumbing. And we're going to talk about the latest trends in building automation systems. And building automation systems, BAS, part of BIM, the Building Information Modeling. And I've got to tell you, I love this because I help build the brand engineering offices. And to get to be part of that and see the BIM room where they had projectors and screens and everything set up, tied into computers where they can literally make changes. They can have you walk through a job site without ever leaving the office. It's actually really cool. But this is great for HVAC, lighting, security, plumbing, electrical, anything that's up in the ceiling, anything that's in the chases, in the columns. This stuff is good. The benefits, it's great for energy efficiency, operational savings, remote monitoring capabilities. You can literally, with the right BIM system, you can go in and say, okay, we've got this built with this particular air handler, let's say. And you can say, well, what if we did this one? What would it do for us for lead AP, for green capabilities, for sustainability? You can actually change out the unit and run a model on it, and it'll tell you what the savings or the cost were. So it's really, really cool. There's a New York commercial building that reduced energy consumption by 30% after a BAS installation. So you can go in and use this on a retrofit too. Just like I talked about, it says, well, what if we went from this system to this system? What would it do? Now, there are some integration challenges and there's some solutions for existing systems. So you may need to talk to somebody that can help you get the right system installed the right way, implemented the right way. That way you're getting the most value out of it every time you use it. And with the growing job market for skilled MEP technicians, when you're getting ready to move out of the field, do what Squirt did, move into the computer. So they're always looking for skilled technicians to come in because they're familiar with things. And if they can come in and learn the automation technology, if they can learn the computers, they know the systems. So they can say, hey, this will work, this won't work, or hey, that's not right, whatever it is. It's a great opportunity if you're good with computers to get out of the field and into the office. And a good thing is there's training opportunities and certifications available for the BAS implementation. And when you can learn stuff like this, guys, it literally changes what you do and how you do it. So pretty cool stuff. All right, where the work is. Now, this is one of my favorite topics, and this is one that me and Randy plugged in here because we've literally been looking at what can we do that's really going to benefit people. And this was a good one, and I like this one today because, well, it's right where I'm at. Rapid growth of construction in Nashville, Tennessee. And the funny thing about it is when I fly into town, I'm always looking out the window, trying to see downtown, and I'm looking for the cranes. Are there any tower cranes here? Well, in Nashville right now, there's an increased demand due to booming residential and commercial development. So that means no matter what kind of plumber, electrician, HVAC tech you are, there's an opportunity. And if you're looking at getting into the trades and you're in the Nashville area, right now I'm just outside of Nashville at Franklin. I got to tell you, this isn't very far. I think we rode into town the other night in about 15, 20 minutes. That's not bad. I used to have people that worked for me in the Dallas area that lived at Cedar Creek Lake and worked in Dallas. They drove an hour and a half at least each direction. So driving 15 minutes to get to Nashville is not a bad deal. Now, Amazon is building a downtown office complex. Oracle built a riverfront campus. And there's a high demand for all trades, not just plumbing, electrical, HVAC, but also carpentry, things like that. Guys, anytime there's major construction going on, carpentry, concrete, there's going to be major needs. And there's benefits for local subcontractors through increased project bids, meaning the more bids you can look at, the more you try to look at, maybe the bigger companies that you can team up with to see if you can collaborate with them. This could be some really good stuff for you. Now, there's opportunities for workforce training and apprenticeships due to the local shortages. So it may be good to say, hey, I've always wanted to work in Nashville. Start reaching out now and seeing what kind of opportunities there are. Now, if you're an out-of-state contractor and you'd like to enter the Nashville market, or maybe you're just an out-of-state plumber, contact a plumbing company in Nashville and find out what the rules are. In Texas, I can bring in a plumber from out of state. I've got to register him as an apprentice, but then I can use him out in the field for 90 days while he learns things. Then I can send him in to take a test. So as soon as you want to come to a town, contact the AHJ, find out what it's going to take to get you in there and get in and learn it. I had a guy literally, he lived up in central United States somewhere. He wanted to get the Texas plumbing exam. And he kept applying and applying. He finally got in, got his date, got all his paperwork right. But he failed the exam 3 times because he didn't want to come here and work. He's like, look, I'm a plumber. I'm working up here. I'm making good money. I just want to get my license, then move down. You know what, guys? Texas is a pretty stiff place to take a plumbing exam. They make it tough, but they do it for a reason. They don't want just everybody to be able to get a license here. So, Nashville, guys, if this is someplace you've thought about moving, if it's someplace you thought, look, I'd like to open a company. And that's another thing. If you're already a tradesman in Nashville and you're thinking, you know what? I've always wanted to open a company here, but man, it's never been the right time. Well, to be honest, it may be the right time. It may be time to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it because with all this big construction going on, a lot of these guys may be going to do it. So now there may be more opportunity for somebody in residential service work. All right. Instructor training. And this is another one of my favorites because, guys, look, I used to be an instructor in the union. And I really never thought that I would because, remember, I joined the union after plumbing 17 years. And to be honest, at first I even thought they're not going to hire me, but I knew that they were doing a recruitment where they were looking for plumbers with experience doing commercial work. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to get in. I'm going to try the union. And probably one of the biggest pieces of advice that the guy who told me about it, he said, look, whatever you do, he said, listen to your apprentices. And I thought, oh, why? I mean, I've got 25 years experience. Why would I listen, or 20 years experience? I said, why would I listen to an apprentice? And he said, Roger, they're learning things that you're not even learning yet. He said, because they're in school, they're in training each and every day. So to me, that was pretty cool. But there's an effective use for micro learning in skilled trades education. Now, micro learning, Squirt talked about this the other day. Short, focused training sessions. There's a company in Dallas that literally, when you come to work for them as an apprentice, they want you to specialize in something. And of course, it's going to be what they need at the time. It may be, we need plumbers that can solder. We need plumbers that can put cast iron in underground. Whatever it is, they'll bring you in and put you on that crew and let you work for about 2 months probably. And then what they do is they bring you into the office for like a week and put you through an intensive training to help you understand every little detail about it. You've had the hands-on, so you understand that, but now you're going to get to learn new things about it. And to me, the neat thing about that is it's a way to get them into more revenue. So they may hire you at $10 an hour, but then after you've been there a couple of months, you've showed them, look, I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to be here. I'm not going to be late. I'm not going to leave early. You come in and do all this. Then they put you through this 1 week training. Then when you're out, they give you a uniform shirt. It's got your name on it. And it says, soldering specialist, whatever it is. But they give you about a $2 raise. Imagine getting a 20% raise after just 2 months worth of work. They do stuff like that. And it's just short, focused training sessions. Now, once they're doing something like that, now you can even do the micro training. Say, hey, let me teach you how to purge a line. Let me teach you how to do this. Let me teach you how to braze. Now it's a short little focused session where somebody can do just a little bit more, learn a little bit more, but you can also teach them the right way to do it. Now the benefits include increased retention rates, flexible scheduling, and targeted skill development. If you're doing micro training, you can literally train them on exactly what you need done. That helps you. Then what happens is your retention is good. You're there. Like if somebody's learning, if somebody's growing, they're not leaving. They want to be there because most companies, I hate to say, don't invest in their employees. And to me, that's one of the worst things you can do, is not do it. Now, real world success, welding instructors reported improved pass rates with micro learning modules. You talk to Randy about cutting pipe. And, if you've never cut with an oxygen acetylene rig, you've got this bright blue flame that comes out inside of a yellow flame. And when you press the oxygen, it forces the air through it to really help blow that through. And when he was talking to a guy who was really, really good at cutting, the guy asked him, says, well, Randy, where do you focus on? He says, well, I focus on the flame. And the guy's like, If you look at that flame, it's about 10 or 12 little bitty flames, little bitty feather flames. And what he told Randy made all the sense in the world. He says, you don't focus on the whole flame. You focus on the one little flame and you make it stay on the exact part of the line that you made. That way, you're fine tuning your cut. And man, when you look at that, it does, it works. Now there's different tools and platforms that are suitable for creating micro learning content. You can use whiteboard, you can use videos, you can use all kinds of different stuff. And then there's best practices for integrating micro learning into existing training curriculums. Think about it. If you're trying to teach someone blueprint reading and drawing, which is a course I used to teach in the union. When you look at that and say, okay, I can teach this and I can teach this whole book, but you get into micro learning and it's like, look, let's look at the details for the plumbing. Let's look at the symbols for the valve. Let's look at the symbols for the fitting. Let's look at the symbols for the different pipe and pipe joining techniques. When you start breaking it down like that, it's like you're laser focused on one little detail. That is micro learning. And when you can do that, when you can teach somebody that detailed to get that focus, it really helps them out a lot. Now, instructors, if you want to measure and evaluate learning effectiveness, make sure you don't just teach, but you also question, you also let them teach. And if you'll do that, they'll understand it even better. All right, specialty. Sorry about that, Colton. Complex HVAC retrofits in historical buildings. And I got to tell you, man, working in historical buildings, guys, it's something, it can be very hard to do because you're normally not just dealing with the city, you are normally also dealing with the historic commission of each city, and it can make it tough. It can make it really tough, to be honest. Now, there's unique challenges that you can face, like structural integrity. You know, some of these old buildings were built pretty solid. Some of them may not have been. So you've always got to look at structural integrity. But one big thing that you've got to remember working in a historic building is, how do I come in and do my work and not affect anything around me that I'm not supposed to? And you better keep your eyes open on that each and every day. You've got your space limitations because you can't, it's hard to put a big old air handler in a room that was designed for a little video. Even if you do need more air, you may have to change things, and all that's got to be approved because they're always looking at the aesthetic preservation. And even me doing a gas job done in the historic district in Dallas, I told them, look, none of my work is outside. It's inside. They're like, yeah, but we still need to see what you're doing. I'm like, man, this is crazy. A successful retrofit of Philadelphia's historic City Hall HVAC system, that's one where they preserved the building but had to come in and do a lot of major changes to get everything to where it worked like it should today. Now, there are innovations in ductless systems. You've got the concealed units like in walls and things like that, and smart controls, either digital controls that you hide, or maybe it's all through an app, through a phone, through an iPad. That way, there's no modern technology hanging on these 150-year-old walls. With all those innovations, though, it makes it nice. Now, the regulatory considerations and the historical preservation compliance are going to be the two biggest things that you have to deal with. Everything has to be put in per code. But a lot of times the historical society says, yeah, we're not going to let you do that. So I remember one day that job that I did in Dallas, I was back and forth between City Hall and the historical society all day long. It was like spend an hour here, spend an hour here, spend an hour here, spend an hour here, back and forth. And it was crazy. But you've got to remember this too when you're pricing your jobs. One thing that we got to where we asked, if there was a job in Dallas or something, it's like, is this job in the historical society? And if they tell you no, and you get down, you pull a permit, it is, now you call and say, hey, it's an extra $1,000. And they're like, well, I don't want to pay it. Okay, we should have told us that in the beginning, but you still owe us this much money. So people know if their house is in a historical district, and they also know the headaches and the hoops that you're going to have to jump through. So kind of crazy. All right. We are going to jump into the social media spotlight, and I am going to open up a new tab here and see if I can pull this channel up here real quick. And then I'm going to share the screen with you. Here we go. All right, so this is WeldTube and Weld Life. I like that. Premium welding goods on Online Welding Academy. Now, guys, anytime that you can learn to weld, I think it's amazing. I think that is just one of those skill sets that it's good. Even if you don't have a welding machine, my little brother bought a welding machine to build office furniture in his upstairs of his house. He wanted something custom. He wanted something built in, something to fit. So he bought the welding machine. He did it himself, put the tops on, did a bunch of different things. Pretty neat stuff. But you look at this channel's got 129 million views. They've got 653,000 subscribers on 761 videos. And as we always do, we're going to go to the more section here. We're going to scroll down and look at basically those same numbers right there. And this channel started in 2017. So I don't know, we'll find out here in a minute. Let's look at their videos. Oldest one, 7 years ago. So they started about the same time we did. I mean, we're pretty close to the same size. So that's pretty cool. MIG welding 6G root is their oldest, so that's what they started out with. And look at this, their first video, which I'm assuming is their first because we went to oldest, 133,000 views 7 years ago. That's pretty cool. You go to my YouTube channel, look at some of my oldest videos, they're still under 1,000 views, which I think is just hilarious. All right, now their latest one. Now, I like this because you look at these different TIG rigs. Got a stubby with a short cup. You got the gas lens, which is the longer tapered down at the end, and then the standard, which is just a straight flow there. 21,000 views a month ago. So it looks like they put up about one video a month. Doesn't look like they're quite consistent because you go from 2 months to 4 months to 7 months. And these are the latest. So let's go look at the most popular. Walking the Cup. Now, y'all have heard Randy talk about that a lot. And if you ever want to see what it is he's really talking about, jump over here and check that out. TIG Welding 101, Walking the Cup. Then over here, you've got 1G MIG and flux core. And they're welding plate there with a V groove in it. I love that. Now, this is one that, man, I'm going to click on this because I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. I'm going to turn that down just in case. Underwater welding, and I actually studied the Ocean Corporation because I thought about going there. That was something that I wanted to learn. I want to get down here and see, yeah, look at him do some underwater welding here. So I like that. You're looking through a mask, and he's actually underwater welding. To me, this is just so cool. Now, I saw the translation there, so it looks like this is in Spanish. Let's see if I can change that in the settings. Oh, wow. This is pretty cool, though. Now, if you've ever been an underwater welder, man, I'd love to hear from you because this is something I have always wanted to do, but never have. But look at all these other ones. Let's go to the most popular ones again. You got the underwater welding there. You got 6G stick, torch cutting, which was what Randy talks about with his oxygen acetylene there, uphill welds, and all kinds of cool stuff. And to me, guys, this is part of what I teach in here is, look, if you want to learn how to do something, if you're thinking about getting into a trade, look at some of this stuff and see if it's something that you'd like to do. So all us subscribers focusing on practical, in-depth welding tutorials, advanced pipe welding techniques, and essential welding safety tips. Those are each over 1 million views, noted for clear instructional style, detailed explanations, and high production quality. Engages viewers with Q&A session, live demonstrations, and field tests of welding equipment. Valuable resource for both beginners and experienced welders aiming to refine their skills. Guys, anytime that you want to learn more about stuff like this, I think places like this are a great way to do it. It gets you in here. It lets you learn a little bit about all the different trades. If there was somebody in here right now that says, look, I'm wanting to get in to a trade, I just don't know which one. And when people ask me that, they're just normally followed up by, in which trade can I make the most money? And at the end of the day, you make the most money in the trade that you're going to enjoy the most. If I would have got into electrical work, I probably wouldn't have lasted long. And I wouldn't have done good at it because I wouldn't have wanted to learn more about it. I've never really liked electrical. But if you look at plumbing, for me, it was intriguing. It was exciting. And from the minute I got into it, I wanted to learn more. So when people talk to me about getting in the trades, that's one of my first things is, what do you enjoy? And if they don't know, I'll tell them, get on social media, get on YouTube, search welding, search plumbing, search electrical, search HVAC. Watch what people do. When you see what they do, ask yourself, look, is that something that I would enjoy? Now, last week I was in Atlanta with Skills USA, and I've got to tell you, it was so much fun being there, to be there, to get to see what they saw, to get to see these kids competing. Everything from plumbing, electrical, HVAC to automotive mechanic, motorcycle mechanic, paint and body technicians, bakers, cake decorators. There were so many different things. Guys doing computer programming, video crews, heavy equipment operators. Man, it was just so neat to see car stereo installers. There were just so many different things. It's like, man, this is crazy. And you watch them compete, and they're competing against other students from all across the nation. And I truthfully think that the way I've always been as competitive as I have, I'd have thrived in that. I would have just freaking loved it. And when you see that, you're looking at it and you're like, man, this is the future of America. And it was so neat to be at. So if you've never done anything like that, check out Skills USA. I think it's cool. I think if you have kids, it's a great place to find out what schools or who participates in it in your area. That way, if you've got a kid that wants to do something like that, you can get them enrolled in a group where they can get in and learn some really good things. But just to be a part of that, I think it's great, because here we are, we're taking high school students, we're letting them try their hand at plumbing, electrical, HVAC, welding sculptures, roofing, carpentry. It doesn't matter, masonry. They did it all. So to be in there, to be part of that and get to see that, it's like, man, this is just really, really wild. So I think that is just one of the neatest things about being in the trades. But figuring out what trade is best for you is going to help you grow your business. It's going to help you do some really, really cool stuff. Now, those of y'all, if you're in Nashville or outside of Nashville, I'm in Franklin right now, and I am at The Thing Nashville. You can look it up online. I speak this afternoon, and I don't even know what time I speak. I think I speak at 3:00. Look at my picture here and see if I can share it with you to know for sure. I speak at probably 2:30. So I was close. But I'll get to be here. Of course, I'm going to be talking about YouTube, teaching people how to grow on YouTube. Because anybody who's got a plumbing business, or anybody who's got any business really, should be on social media. And I think YouTube's a great place to start. I'm also looking at doing a mastermind here pretty soon. Anybody interested in growing a residential service business? If it's something you're interested in, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about that. We're going to do a mastermind, I think, here in Dallas. And we've got some good stuff that we've been working on that we want to teach you. So if it is something you're interested in, just connect with me on LinkedIn. Say, hey, I'd like to talk to you. If you want to grow your plumbing business, if you want to do things better, learn a specialty. Now, this video is sponsored by LeakPro. LeakPro is the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And we used LeakPro to grow our business and grow our bottom line. And to me, LeakPro is the very best. And that's the one that we took on. LeakPro has the complete kit, which I think is phenomenal. It's got the LeakPro probe, which is great for out in the yard. It's got a stainless steel rod, so you can drive it down as deep as you need to. Then it's got the Sidekick. It has the aluminum rod. And I like it at the meter, at the valve box, and then carrying all throughout the house. My favorite thing about LeakPro is it's very concise. It's right there in the probe handle. It's right there in the Sidekick handle. And you just plug your headphones in. There's no adjustments, no frequencies, no switches. You've got one volume knob on your head and a button that I hear, I don't hear. I hear, I don't hear. It keeps you from going deaf. The good thing about it is the complete kit comes with the most professional looking carrying case. You're going to walk in people's houses and they're going to know you're a pro. You're there, you look good, you are the LeakPro to them. If this is something you're interested in purchasing, go to www.leak-pro.com to check that out. And if you really want, you can go to LeakPro, check out the training. We've got a training center just outside of Dallas in Wiley, Texas. It's a 2-day event. where you learn to find leaks under the slab. You also learn how to isolate leaks on a sewer line, both cast iron and PVC. And when you come out to the training, if you're the owner, if you're the general manager, we'll spend time looking at your website, teaching you about marketing, how to grow to get found for leak detection in your area. And if you want to learn more about that, give Squirt a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO. And if you want to learn how to do what we do, if you want to learn how to do YouTube, guys, this is something that I teach. I've got courses for it, but I've also got a free webinar to help you understand that, look, all the misconceptions in your mind, you shouldn't even be worried about those. Because if I'd have worried about those in the beginning, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be doing what I do. But if you want to learn more about it, go to www.justmetroger.com and watch that free webinar. And if you do, come back in here and let me know what you thought about it. Because I truthfully think that if you own a business anywhere, you should be doing YouTube. And that's what I want to teach you how to do. Guys, I am sorry that I was late today. Tech does happen. But the good thing is we stuck with it. We got through it. And we got on here. So thank y'all for hanging around. And I do appreciate y'all coming in. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. If this was your first time here, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give us a thumbs up. And after you hit that subscribe button, remember to ring the bell so you know every time that we go live. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Whatever you do out there today, do it safe and hit it effing hard. Bye, guys.